So many of us think that our happiness lies in the acquisition of something. That once I have X, then I'll be happy. But what if the reason you're not happy right now is because you're not giving yourself the permission to feel it? You have within you a set of conditions that's holding that happiness in an inexistent future that's never really able to manifest itself. And were you to get rid of those conditions that's holding that happiness away from you, happiness would be a natural, spontaneous result from letting go of those conditions. So many of us, basically everybody, myself included, still live our lives in this incessant chase of this feeling that we call happiness. The feeling of well-being, of satisfaction, of, there we go, I have it now. Now that I have this, now I'm happy. We're looking for pleasure, peace, happiness, contentment, satisfaction. But my friends, we're looking for it in all the wrong places. Haven't you noticed by now that it's not in getting something that gives you everlasting happiness? And we find ourselves time and time again going after this thing, and then maybe getting that thing, having this sort of short-lived rush, and then it's on to the next thing, where it's this constant grasping, getting, enjoying, and then looking again. It's grasping, getting, enjoying, grasping, getting, enjoying, again and again and again. It's a cycle. And we start to become disillusioned after a while once we've gone after all these things that we think will finally grant us the key to our happiness, only to find out that once again, the happiness we get from it is short-lived and fleeting and transient. But this is because we have conditions within us that constantly keep our well-being out in front of us. Now, in a way, you can't blame us for this because looking for happiness on the outside seems like the obvious and apparent thing to do, where if I had more money, if I had a relationship, if I had this object, if I was able to have this status, if I could live here, if I could have this job, if I could be whatever, then, that's the mentality, is if I have this, then I'll be happy, and it only seems obvious. But what we're doing by this is we're creating a condition that keeps that happiness away from you always. And were you to get rid of those conditions of once I have this, then I'll be happy, happiness would be a natural arising result right now. Now, I've seen this many times, not even with other people, but just my own life, where I think that getting this thing will finally grant me my happiness. I think that having more money, or having this kind of job, or traveling here, or getting that will give me my happiness, or even the mentality of if I had a relationship, then I would finally be happy. But then you get the relationship and there's this sort of excitement and rush and mystery, but then it's just back to the basics of how do I get happy while I'm in the relationship? I need more. They're not doing enough. I'm not happy, you know? What are we looking for? Why are we devoid of happiness? Maybe it's not because we haven't got the thing yet. It's because we have a condition within us that keeps it out in front of us, where we think it's in the future. I've heard it said before that by thinking heaven is somewhere you go to eventually, we've inadvertently created hell on earth. But in the same way, by thinking happiness is something that you will finally get to, what do you think you've created right now in this moment? Lack of contentment, dis-ease, non-satisfaction, non-fulfillment, a lack of happiness. By thinking that once you have this, then you'll be happy, what you're telling your body is right now I'm not happy because I don't have this thing. So what you do is you go on this wild goose chase, looking and trying to acquire this thing, only to find out to your horror that it wasn't the answer to your everlasting happiness. I remember having this conversation with an old coworker of mine, and we were on lunch break and he was next to me. And he was really worked up. He was really upset, talking about, bills and money, and this job doesn't pay enough, and I'm doing all this work, and trust me, I understand where he's coming from. But I could see that so much of that stress was not dependent, and the stress wasn't a result of the job and the lack of money and having to work all this time. That wasn't why he was upset. The reason he was upset was because of the energy from which he was operating, the place from which he was acting. I could see that he was why he wasn't happy. It's not that he doesn't have enough money. It's not that he's working. It's not that he doesn't like his job. It's the condition that he's set within himself, which is creating all of this turmoil on the outside. So I started telling him, man, I was like, man, do you meditate? Like, do you have practices of coming into the moment and like appreciating nature and appreciating life and loving yourself and all this stuff? And he got even more worked up, and he eventually said to me, he's like, money isn't, he said, meditating won't help me pay the bills, Devin. And it was just that, where he thinks that his happiness lies in being able to pay the bills. And trust me, I understand that not being able to pay your bills is really stressful, really frustrating, really scary even, and it's a drag. It's a drag having a job that doesn't pay you enough to get the money. But by him saying, meditating's not going to help me pay the bills, he doesn't understand what I was saying. What I was trying to point him towards was that, hey man, maybe your lack of contentment in this moment isn't solely dependent on the money and not being able to pay your bills, but maybe it also has a lot to do with how you are functioning in life. And see, by me offering him to meditate, I wasn't telling him, hey man, if you meditate, you'll get rich and be able to pay all the bills. What I was saying is, hey man, if you meditate, maybe you'll be able to come into a place of deeper fulfillment here and now, independent of the external circumstances. Because it's possible. Our happiness isn't conditioned, it isn't dependent upon external conditions. One of the examples I like to use a lot is people in the Holocaust, an absolutely horrible time. If you think not being able to pay your bills is making you unhappy, think about being in the Holocaust. Yet, there are reports of people in the Holocaust laughing, having a good time, offering their rations of food to other people, being kind, being compassionate, being humorous and silly, and having a good time. And essentially, as we've all heard before but don't necessarily like to hear, making the best of it. And what if that's just it? What if it is what you make of it? What if your happiness is more so dependent on you and how you're operating and showing up in life, rather than thinking, once I have this, then I'll be happy. If it weren't for that, I'd be happy. We put the happiness outside of ourselves. We say, you're why I'm not happy, or this is why I'm not happy. But what if the reason we're not happy is because we're not allowing ourselves to be, because of conditions that we have within us that we have yet to make conscious? Now, traveling is a beautiful example for me of this putting happiness outside of you thing that I'm talking about. Right now, I'm in Sedona, Arizona, and it's absolutely beautiful. The red rocks are all around me. The weather is amazing. The views are absolutely profound and moving and breathtaking. And just yesterday, I was up on Bell Rock in Sedona here, and I'm sitting up there. And it's literally just God in front of me, man. The red rocks and the vast view and the clouds and the people hiking. It's beauty. It's absolute beauty at its finest. It's beauty at its purest. And I could feel within myself the conditions of looking for more. Of the feeling of, if only, this is cool, but maybe if this were happening, it would be cooler. Maybe if I had some sort of like spiritual experience while I'm out here, then it would be enough. You eventually get to the point of asking yourself, when is it ever enough? When is it enough? When will you finally feel that fulfillment? The reason traveling is a beautiful example to me of this is because, in my mind, I love traveling. Traveling is so beautiful, especially traveling alone, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm here completely alone, on the other side of the country, all alone. And in my mind, traveling is a beautiful way to learn, to grow, to evolve. spiritually, mentally, physically, to witness the world and learn about the world and see new environments and all this beautiful stuff. But I'm also aware that my happiness and fulfillment isn't dependent on me traveling. I'm aware that my happiness is something that I bring to the moment. Where I'm sitting up on Bell Rock, this profoundly beautiful location, and it's still up to me to be fulfilled, to feel the fulfillment of the moment, to feel happy. Bell Rock isn't going to do it for me. Traveling isn't going to do it for you. A relationship isn't going to do it for you. Money isn't going to do it for you. Look at all the famous people that have all the money in the world and can do whatever the hell they want, whenever they want, and they're even telling you, listen, this is not the answer. Being rich and famous will not give you the happiness you're looking for. And we all just kind of brush it off like, oh yeah, he's saying that just because he's rich and famous. But if I were rich and famous, then I would be happy. But literally, the what you're chasing, the people who have it are literally telling you, hey man, the happiness isn't here either. The happiness isn't out here. It's not on the outside. Where happiness takes place is within you. Look at all the times of when you've been in love, when you've been depressed, when you've been angry, when you've been disillusioned, confused, lost, sad. Let me ask you, any emotions you feel, let me ask you this. Where did they take place? Where did you feel that emotion? Where was it localized? Inside of you, right? Somebody making you angry, they didn't put the anger inside of you. It was created within you because a certain condition was triggered, where they acted as a key or a catalyst to trigger emotions within you. The emotions always take place within you. They are no further away from you than your immediate experience in this moment. Now the problem is that we have those conditions within us, where when they do that, I get angry, or when this happens, I get depressed, or when that happens, I get anxious, or once I have this, then I'll be happy. Once I have a relationship, once I have money, once I'm fit, once I'm whatever, then I call it the once I then I'll mentality. Once I blank, then I'll blank. Once I then I'll be happy. And all we're doing by doing this is disempowering ourselves. We're putting it out beyond ourselves. And see, something that comes into consideration here is the victim mentality, where when you're unhappy, when you're not well, when you're sad, angry, depressed, cynical, nihilistic, all doom and gloom, it's easy, and honestly, it gives you this feeling of validation and righteousness in saying, kind of like my coworker, the reason I'm not happy is because of X, Y, and Z. So the reason you're not happy is somebody else's fault, or something else's fault. You're putting the blame off to another person. You're doubling it and giving it to the next person. You're passing it off. You're passing off the blame to others. And what comes in this, even though it's a double-edged sword here, and I'm going to explain the other side of this coin here in a moment. The double-edged sword in blaming the outside for why you're not happy is, it's not up to you to be happy, but at least you can feel right and righteous in that, because it's this. This is the reason I'm not happy. It's that person's fault that I'm not happy. It's this place's fault that I'm not fulfilled. It's because of this on the outside. So what that does is it disempowers you, but it gives you this feeling of righteousness, because it's not your responsibility to be happy, because your happiness your lack of happiness is somebody else's fault. So it's not your fault that you're unhappy. It's this person's fault. It's that employer's fault. It's this place's fault. It's the government's fault. It's her fault. It's his fault. It's all we put it off. We put off the blame. But see, all that does is disempower you. Now you're really not going to be happy, because you're waiting for all this stuff on the outside to make you happy. But the world does not make you happy. You make you happy when you reconfigure those conditions within yourself to allow it to manifest itself in this moment. Now the other side of the coin is, in realizing that it's up to you to be happy, a lot of people don't like to hear that, because what it does is it puts all of the weight of your lack of fulfillment and lack of happiness on your shoulders. In realizing, damn, the reason I'm not happy is because of how I'm thinking and acting in life. The way that I'm thinking, feeling, and acting in my life is precisely why I'm not happy. And that puts a lot of weight on your shoulders, a lot of guilt, a lot of shame maybe, a lot of responsibility and obligation of, damn, it's up to me to be happy here. But you want to know what else comes with that responsibility? Is the greatest empowerment you could ever imagine. At first you realize, oh my God, it's up to me to be happy. But then, when you flip that on its head a little bit, you realize, oh my God, it's up to me to be happy. You can say it on either side, oh, it's up to me to make myself happy. Or, holy crap, it's in my power to become happy. I'm not at the whim of external circumstances to make me happy or to make me upset. Now, speaking realistically here, people are going to piss you off. There's going to be pleasure that comes in your life as a result of traveling, of getting a relationship, of more money and abundance coming into your life and all these things. But notice how it comes and it goes. When was the last time you bought something, or got a relationship, or traveled somewhere, or got a new job, or got a better and more abundant money flow coming into your life, and you were forever happy after that? When was the last time something came into your life and granted you everlasting happiness? You probably wouldn't be watching this video if that were the case. And if you have come across something that granted you everlasting happiness, hit me up in the comments because I want some of what you got, bro. When was the last time you got something, you bought something, you went somewhere, you got with somebody, you did something that granted everlasting happiness? More often than not, it's something that comes and you feel pleasure and then it goes away. And then you're seeking again, where is it now? Where am I gonna find it now? And we always up-level it. When you're single, you think, once I have a relationship, then I'll be happy. And then you get in a relationship and it's like, once we're living together, then I'll be happy. And then you're living together, well, once we're married, then I'll be happy. And then you're married and it's like, well, once they stop doing this, then I'll be happy. We put it off. We're telling the world, hey, can you make me happy? We're telling the outside world, hey, do you mind making me happy? But bro, everybody in the world is doing that. So why is anybody going to take the time of their day to make you happy? And also, speaking realistically here, they can't. Like I was saying earlier, they can't put emotions inside of you. When you fall in love with somebody, it creates this illusion that it's coming from them. They are why you're in love. So then when they leave, what does that mean? That means you're not in love anymore. Or they were my love, they were my other half, and now they're gone. So what does that mean? It means I'm incomplete. It means without them, I'm empty, I'm broken, I'm not enough. And what that is a condition. It's a concept. It's a framework of thinking where if they aren't here, I'm unhappy. Nobody's demanding that that be the truth other than you. And by thinking in that way, you're insisting that that's the truth. So when they go away, you're unhappy. If you think once I have enough money, then I'll be happy, all of the time spent until you get that money, or let's just say, if you ever get that money, you're going to spend it unhappy because you've put off your happiness. But when you start to flip this on its head, and you start to realize that happiness is up to you to manifest and allow yourself to experience right now, it begins to change the whole game. You begin to realize that your life is a series of teachings that are essentially asking you, do you have what it takes to remember that happiness is in your hands in every given moment? You're stuck in traffic on your way to work. Are you going to be able to be happy in that moment? You get fired from your job. Are you going to be able to be happy in that moment? Your partner leaves you. Uh-oh, there goes your happiness. Your happiness was you put it in them and now they're gone. How are you ever going to be happy now? It's a test. It's a test teaching you in the best kind of way. Saying, are you aware that you have what it takes to be happy right now? Now, there's a distinct difference between happiness and pleasure. I mean, I wouldn't even call it Happiness, I would call it peace, contentment, fulfillment, clarity, presence. Pleasure is the thing that comes about as a result of getting what we thought we wanted. Whether you travel somewhere, or you get a relationship, or you buy a new thing, you know, like people that are constantly buying stuff because they get that little rush. They've confused that rush, that dopamine hit, with happiness. But see, happiness isn't the thing that comes and goes. Happiness is a condition. It's a place it's a vibration. It's a state of being that you live on, which is independent of any external circumstances. There are things that will happen in your life that once they come into fruition, they grant you this moment, this sort of high of pleasure. That's how drugs work. You do a drug, it makes you feel all good, and then it wears off. That's how biology works. And the same thing works beyond drugs as well, of bad habits, of seeking sex and buying things, and just our bad habits of seeking all this stuff, seeking validation, seeking fame, seeking money, doing all this stuff on the outside. We're getting high constantly. We're all junkies in some kind of way, and we're junkies in different areas. Some people eat bad food. Some people take drugs. We think junkies is exclusive to people who use drugs. But if you're out here hooking up with people every week, you're a junkie. If you're out here eating junk food every single week, you're a junkie. If you're out here chasing money thinking that that's what's going to give you the happiness, you're a junkie. We're all dopamine junkies. We're all dopamine addicts. But dopamine is not your happiness. And if you want to talk in a sort of chemical sense here, serotonin is more so in line with what I would call happiness, contentment. There's a difference between dopamine and oxytocin and serotonin. Oxytocin and serotonin are like a sense of well-being right now. Dopamine is this thing that goes, it comes up and it goes down. Serotonin and oxytocin are the kinds of things that grant this glow of just presence, of love, of joy, of contentment, of relaxation. But we're all addicted to dopamine because dopamine is like this roller coaster thing. You know what I mean? There's people that they're so like addicted and used to and conditioned to like toxic relationships where it's like trauma bonding, and you fight and then you make up, and then you fight and then you make up, and then you break up and then you get back together, and then you fight and then you make up. That's a constant up and down of emotions. And then once you finally leave that person, and then you get with somebody who's a healthy partner, they're very grounded, very present, very clear, very just easygoing and present. The person who's used to toxic relationships says, damn, this is boring. This is weird. This is suspicious. Why isn't anything going wrong? Why are we so okay with each other? And then comes in self-sabotaging, where you sort of impose that drama and trauma and chaos to give you that rush of dopamine that you're so used to from all your previous toxic relationships. But happiness, peace and contentment isn't this up and down fluctuating roller coaster. Peace and true happiness and well-being is a very grounded vibration. What defines happiness for me, and sort of I'd call it being in a high vibration, is mental clarity and relaxation and clear thinking. That's really it right there, is when I'm feeling good, when I'm in a high vibration, a way for me to know that is I'm very clear and fluent in my thoughts and feelings, and everything is just simple and peaceful, and it makes sense. And when hardship comes my way, when adversity comes my way, I meet it with mental clarity and peace and compassion and relaxation. It's not this thing that's like, once I have this, then I'll be happy. That's not what happiness is. Happiness is a state of being that you allow yourself to experience right now. And you may be like, yeah, it's easy for him to say, or it's not that easy. It's easier said than done. And yes, that's true. It's easier said than done. But that's what's entailed in working on yourself. It's called working on yourself because it's not easy. It's easy to put the blame off on somebody else or the world and say, the reason I'm not happy is because of this. The reason I'm not happy is because of that. Or once I get this, then I'll be happy. And then you get it and you're like, well, if it was more, then I'd really be happy. It's easy to blame the world for why you're not happy. But what takes maturity and wisdom and responsibility and serious devotion to your development is realizing, oh shit, the world isn't going to make me happy. It's up to me to allow myself to experience it in any circumstance in life that I'm faced with. That's not really easy. And not only is it not easy because it puts the responsibility on your shoulders, and also, like I was saying, even though it's a responsibility, it's also the most greatest empowerment you will ever experience. But also, it's not easy because what's entailed in realizing that happiness is dependent on you right now experiencing it, you realize that there's all these blocks within you. There's all these conditions within you that are disabling you from being able to experience it. So that begins the long journey of getting rid of those blocks, of getting rid of those things that are clouding your experience of happiness right now. I can tell you with absolute certainty that if within you, right now, in this moment, we're able to get rid of all of the blocks that I'm speaking of, you would be naturally happy. It wouldn't be something that came about from something on the outside. Happiness, well-being, contentment is your natural state. But we've filled ourselves with all this junk, with all this garbage of negative thinking, negative concepts, negative beliefs, negative habits, negative activity and action. And so we've hidden and stashed our happiness away for later while we're busy trying to get it on the outside and trying to get high on dopamine, thinking that that's what our happiness is. But when you start working on yourself, you start realizing that happiness is up to you. It's up to you. Now this is, like I said a moment ago, very easier said than done, particularly for certain people. But when I tell you that happiness is up to you, I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm not like blaming you. I'm trying to empower you and lift you up and realize that you can be happy. You're not damned. You're not broken. You're not losing. You're not at a loss. You're not able to be happy. All that's needed to be done is a reconfiguration of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions to sort of align you in a certain way that allows happiness to manifest naturally. This is something that's so important, and so many of us miss this, and like I said in the beginning, myself included. I still go out and try to find happiness in objects and people and locations. I still travel around thinking, this will make me happy. But every time I travel, every time I get that thing, every time I acquire that thing that I think is where my happiness is, I'm reminded, because of the direct work that I've done on myself, oh, this isn't where my happiness is. It's still up to me. I was fooled again. I convinced myself that getting this thing or going to this place or whatever is what's going to make me happy. But when I get the thing and I feel a short rush and then it goes away, I realize, oh yeah, that's right. Happiness is something that I bring to the table. Happiness is a mindset and a condition. I mean, it's not even a condition. It's something that you allow yourself to meet the moment with. So if there's anything I want to emphasize in this video, it's to stop looking so much on the outside for that feeling of happiness that I know you're looking for. I am too. Stop looking so much on the outside and start playing with the idea that you're more capable to find that happiness in this moment than you may have given yourself credit for. Start playing with the idea that happiness is up to you. You're able to be happy now, regardless of how much money you have, regardless of if you're single or in a relationship that you don't like, regardless of your status, regardless of anything on the outside, you're still able to meet this moment with clarity, love, compassion, and relaxation. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed. And if you did enjoy, do me a favor, before you click off this video, leave a like, because it really helps these videos go a long way. And if you enjoy this content, I post content like this every single week. So if you're interested in this, leave a subscribe on my channel and see this content whenever it pops up, because I love offering this kind of stuff, and it's my passion. It's what I do. So with that said, thank you so much, and I'll see you all in the next video.